Good morning, everyone. It is 6:12 my time. I'm in Wisconsin, so I'm in Central Time. 6:12 in the morning, and I'm gonna bake a chocolate cake before my kids wake up for school because I wasn't able to do it last night. I'm not a morning person at all. I'm still working on my coffee right now, but my kids would not go, well, my 2-year-old and my 5-month-old would not go to sleep last night, so I was not able to bake last night like I normally would. And I thought, hey, let's do a live video, see how it works. I've always wanted to do an Instagram live. I've done Facebook Live. Haven't done Facebook Live in a while, and I miss it. So thought I'd try the Instagram Live now. So hi, awesome mums. Hopefully other people will join us. I don't know who's going to be awake this time of day and wants to watch me bake a cake at 6 in the morning. But I'm going to get started. I have some more coffee brewing for my chocolate cake recipe, because it makes it so moist, and the coffee brings up the chocolate flavor. This is going to be interesting because I'm so tired. But I will link to my chocolate cake recipe after this video is done, in case none of this makes sense. Clipping my hair up to get to work. Okay. It's raining over here again. We had 7 days of rain straight. And I love rain. I do. But that's a lot of rain. And yesterday it was so nice. And this morning I wake up and it's raining again. Want some nice weather. You know what? I'm going to turn these. I have lights on right above my counter, and I'm going to go turn them on. Hang on a minute. That's better. All right. First step is parchment paper. I line my cake pans with parchment paper so that I don't have to bother with the butter and flour thing. Oh, my pen isn't working. I'm just outlining the bottom of the cake pan so that I know what size to cut out. There we go. I'm making 6-inch cake pans. I'm going to do a 3-tiered graduation cake next week. And you may be asking, well, why are you baking the cakes now? I am going to California the end of this week for one of my best friend's weddings that I'm in. So I'm kind of having to do the baking in advance and freeze the cakes. Cakes freeze so well. They really last quite well in the freezer. If anything, they just come out of the freezer more moist than they were before. Nancy Johnson, why are you awake so early? My mother-in-law just joined. She's not a morning person either. Oh, goodness. When you have kids, you just have to try to do this stuff whenever you can, right? And normally it would be at night. I love nighttime baking. I was not happy when my alarm went off at 5, trying to get me up. Okay, you guys get to watch me cut out parchment circles. Oh, goodness. I hope my kids don't wake up. That'd be a shame. Wake up at 5:15, try to get this done, and then they wake up and ruin it still. So I actually learned this trick of the parchment paper thing from watching How to Cake It on YouTube. If you guys haven't seen How to Cake It, I love How to Cake It on YouTube. She's Yolanda Gamp. So talented. My gosh, her cakes are just amazing. My girls and I love watching her. So you just put the parchment circle at the bottom of the cake pan, like that. It sits flat. And then I spray the sides of the cake pan with some spray vegetable oil so the cake doesn't stick. And it comes right out. Okay. there you have it. So, first things first are the eggs. I always crack my eggs in a separate bowl just because I'm not the best at cracking eggs. A lot of times I end up having shell in there. Or sometimes, you know, the egg will have like a little bit of blood. That way you're not cracking it into the bowl that you're using. You don't have to like stop and wash the bowl or dump out eggs if there were like, if there was like a good egg in there. This one's fine. I'm using 4 eggs today. I've done this recipe with as little as 2 eggs and as many as 4. The reason for the increase in egg is for extra stability. This chocolate cake recipe is super moist. It's so good. But if you are doing any kind of, oop, and there's a shell. Shoot, okay. If you're doing any kind of structure cake, like a tiered cake, which is what I'm doing for this cake, you want a little bit more stability, so you don't want the cake breaking on you. And see, I just used the shell of the cake to get the shell because they like attract each other, like a magnet or something. So anyways, I'm using 4 eggs today because I need the extra stability. I don't want my cake falling on me. That's empty. Sink. Thought for a minute I heard one of my kids waking up. It's some sort of wild animal outside. Don't ask me what kind of animal. I don't even know. Thank you, Heart, Hope, and Hustle. This chocolate cake is seriously the best. I have a dairy allergy, so all of my cakes, most of them that I do, are dairy-free. And I did this cake for a birthday party last summer, and I had everybody coming up to me saying it was the best cake they'd ever had. And then I got to tell them, thank you, it's dairy-free. Every time I do that, their mouths are just like, it's dairy-free? You don't need dairy to make a good cake. Although, ironically, I am using dairy in this cake because it's not for me. And if I put dairy in it, then it prevents me from eating the cake scraps, which I don't need any more of right now. Okay, got my eggs. I'm going to do sugar now. Sift your sugar because there's always lumps in it, even if you can't see it. There's always little tiny, well, not tiny, but there's just little lumps of crystal that you don't want in there. Doing 2 cups of sugar. You just sift it. This is my kids' favorite part. We pretend it's an earthquake. They're going to be so upset if they find out that I did this without them. But you know, I have a lot of cake to bake for this particular cake, so I have no doubts that I'll be doing this. I'll be going live again with my kids, helping me make cake. Ha! Helping. Alright, now I'm just going to get this mixed up. It'll be too loud for me to talk, so I'm going to have some coffee. That should be good. You just want to mix it until it's all, well, I can show you, can't I? Pick you guys up. Can you see it? Just looks like, I don't know what it looks like, a lemon curd or something, yolky goodness. All right, and then I'm going to add the oil. Or should I add it doesn't matter. I'll add the oil next. So I'm doing 1/2 cup of oil. keep having to grab stuff from my dishwasher because I didn't think to grab it all right now. Oh, and I need my spatula. You guys, I am not a morning person at all. Good grief. And I had some people who like foolishly told me that children would make me a morning person. They didn't at all. They just know that mommy's grumpy in the mornings. I don't understand children. Like, they wake up and they're just on. I mean, my oldest Anne actually needs a little bit of time, but like when I say a little bit, I mean like she needs 5 minutes and then she's just like, ding! She's awake and she wants to like ask questions and talk, and I'm just like, can I have my coffee, please? All right, no, let's do this. So some people, a lot of bakers do like dry ingredients in one bowl and then they mix them up and then they add it to the wet ingredients. I don't like doing that just because it's an extra bowl. Sometimes I will, I'll be anal, but this is my trick for getting out of that. So the reason why you want to do that is for ingredients like baking powder and baking soda and salt that you only put in like a teaspoon or half a teaspoon or whatever in to incorporate all the way through the batter. So if you just add those first and then add, you know, like your cocoa powder and your flour, then you don't have to get another bowl dirty. And I mean, for real, I already have enough dishes to do. Still have half a sink full of dishes, even though I did a load in the dishwasher last night. So 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. These measuring spoons have a little line in there for the half a teaspoon. I'm not eyeballing it. Not that lazy of a baker. So that was baking powder. This is baking soda. I'm going to do 1.5 teaspoons each of that. Again, I'll share the link to my chocolate cake recipe. Don't try to take notes right now. I'm kind of a bubbling buffoon. And salt. I'm using kosher salt because I'm kind of obsessed with using kosher salt in cakes right now. I can't describe exactly what it does to the flavor. It just tastes better. I don't know. I can't describe it, which is not helpful. You can just use regular table salt. You can use sea salt. Just a teaspoon of salt. I am using kosher because it just does something. I'm not going to try to, I'm bad with words without my coffee. Ooh. Okay. My paddle attachment leaked some egg sugar mixture in the bottom of my mixer here, so I wiped it up. All right. Yeah. I'm going to do the chocolate powder, cocoa powder. It's the same thing, isn't it? I don't know. Cocoa powder in next. I forgot to sift the baking powder in. Sometimes baking powder gets like lumpy in the batter for some reason. It's not the biggest deal in the world, and I still have enough ingredients to mix in that it'll incorporate itself. That's what I get for baking in the morning. My children won't sleep, or my babies, they won't sleep. My 2-year-old is awful. She still ends up in my bed every single night. It was 11 o'clock, and she was still awake, and I just gave up, and I'm like, you just can come into bed with me, because it's 11 o'clock. Baby still wakes up. She's 6 months old. She'll nurse herself back to sleep, and I'll still be asleep next to her, because I just co-sleep. I'll just bring her in bed with us. But that bed is getting crowded, guys. It just is. So 3/4 cups of cocoa powder, sifted. You really want to sift it, and it gets kind of messy sometimes, especially in the winter when there's a lot of static electricity in the air. This sifting part gets so messy, but don't skip it. It makes such a huge difference in the batter. I'm going to see if I can angle the camera to show you guys all the little balls of cocoa powder that, I don't know if you guys can see that, but the little balls in there, you don't want that in your batter, okay? Because then it's just gonna, the cake is not gonna be, I have no words, guys. It's 6 in the morning. Just don't do it. Do you ever get like that with your kids? Oh, shoot, it leaked again. I get like that all the time where I'm so tired or flustered or frustrated where I'm trying to get them to not do something and they're not listening to me and they're wanting to know why they can't do it. And I'm just like, because I said so. Just don't do it. And in that moment, I realize that I have become my mother. And it makes me laugh. Because it's what we all do. We all just end up becoming our mother and father. Just saying, just because I said so. Just don't do it. Chocolate cloud. Oh, goodness. Where's my coffee? Oh. All right. Again, just checking for children. All right, so now I have in here a cup of milk with a guesstimate of a teaspoon of vanilla extract. If you guys were watching me do that earlier, you saw that I just eyeballed it. It's not like if you put extra vanilla extract that the cake is going to suffer. It'll just taste better. It's chocolate cake, so people are just like, why do you put vanilla extract in it? It just rounds out the flavor. You're not going to, I wouldn't say you're going to, if you ate a piece of cake, chocolate cake with... Sorry, last year I got a notification. Anyways, just put the vanilla extract in there. It helps round out the flavor. I'm going to add just a little bit of this at a time because you don't want the batter to get too loose and runny. Then the ingredients are going to have a hard time incorporating again. No, Nancy, I'm not making a wedding cake. I'm making a graduation cake for Macy, Alicia's daughter. She's graduating high school, and the celebration is June 2nd. Which, as you know, is right after your son's birthday. So next week is going to be a busy cake week for me. So I'm getting some stuff done in advance and freezing it. All right, I'm going to add a little bit. I don't know if you guys know, it's just batter mixing. You add the milk and it starts to get loose, and then you let it mix it in. I love my mixer. My goodness, I would just be lost without my KitchenAid mixer. I don't even have a handheld one. And sometimes I wish I do for smaller things where I maybe don't want to get the whole big beast out and stuff. But this thing just makes it so much easier. It was a wedding gift, and I was so excited to get it. Wedding registries are just awesome, aren't they? My whole kitchen is just from my wedding registry. Like all the pots and pans, all of our dishes, even our silverware, our glassware, everything is from the wedding. All right, what did I just do? So I did the chocolate and this. All right, all I have left is the flour, the rest of this milk and coffee. Okay, so we're gonna do 2 cups of flour. It's not super important to sift the flour because it's already, I don't know, flour just doesn't really get lumpy. If you want to sift it, go for it. I just don't feel like taking this thing off my pedestal again. But you don't have to. So you just want to like incorporate a little bit of the flour and then a little bit of the liquid, a little bit of the flour, a little bit of the liquid. I find everything incorporates best if you end on a splash of liquid, but it really doesn't matter. There are some bakers that are like super OCD and you have to do things exactly this way and they get their measurements to such a precise thing as like an 1/8 of a teaspoon. I just am not that type of person at all. And my cakes always turn out great. So to each their own, whatever works for you. If you feel better having super control over the ingredients and how you're measuring it, do it. I degaff. So I'm scraping the sides of the bowl just to make sure that everything gets incorporated, because you don't want any lumps, you don't want any white spots in the chocolate batter because you just didn't mix it right. That's embarrassing. Okay, I still have some flour in here, about half a cup from my first cup measurement. I'm going to add that in. Baking is messy. Whenever I bake with my kids, my kitchen is a nightmare. Batter falls on the floor somehow, and then they'll have it on their hands, and they get it like on my cabinets and on the stools that they're standing on. It's just so messy with children, but they're so cute. They love to bake with me. I need to do it with them more often lately because I'm so pressed with time with the baby. I feel like I only ever have like 20-minute increments in between nursing. I know sometimes I have more than that, but it just feels that way. So whenever I am getting something done, I don't want any distractions. I'm just like, no, I need to get it done. I don't have time to bake with you, which is a little harsh, but it's true. It takes longer with them. All right, I'm adding my second cup of flour. Again, not the whole thing. Not the whole thing at once, just a little bit at a time. Just gauge it. I've been adding all my ingredients. I probably should have brought out my recipe on the paper so I could keep track. But I've done this recipe so many times. Add a little bit more milk. Banging the sides of the bowl because I'm professional like that. And scrape. I'm so glad that the school year is almost over. Oh, I'm so relieved. I just want a lazy summer. I'm not the type of person that enjoys a really busy schedule. And I know that I'm like the biggest baby in the world for complaining because I just have a kindergartner and that's it. You know, my other kids are still at home with me. And the only extracurricular activity they really have is dance. And they did Awana at the church, but Awana's been over for a few weeks now. I just don't like it. Because on days when they have like dance or Awana, Aowen gets off the bus at 4, and then I have to have dinner ready, all like made, so we can sit down and eat quick because we have to leave the house at 4:30. Half an hour. We get half an hour of family time before we're on the move again. I'm not all about that life. I want to spend time with my kids. I think it's so important for kids to have downtime. I read this article, and I believe it too, that keeping kids' schedules super busy all the time is actually causing anxiety in children and other mental health issues because they don't have enough downtime and they don't know how to cope with such a busy schedule. And I believe it. So I'm so looking forward to just doing nothing this summer. I'm a huge advocate of the gift of boredom for your kids. I've been meaning to write a post about it for like 2 months, but I have so little time to do anything for myself. All right. Oops. Note to all watching, turn the speed down a little bit before you add the liquid, which I already knew, but I'm tired. All right, I'm bumping that up a little bit. I still see some lumps of something, powder, the flour probably, or the baking soda. So I'm just going to let it mix until I don't see any more. You don't want to overmix because then you get air bubbles in your batter. Alright guys, I think this is pretty much done. Now, if you don't want a super moist cake, I think you're crazy. If you don't want it to be super moist, you do not have to add the coffee. But please add the coffee. And if you're worried about caffeine for your kids or whatever, I feed this chocolate cake to my kid all the time. And not like every day. I'm not baking chocolate cake all the time, but I'm just saying, this is my go-to recipe for chocolate cake, and they always request chocolate cake for their birthday parties. I've made it so many times. It really doesn't, I think maybe it's like alcohol, like maybe the caffeine bakes out or something, but don't quote me on that. I don't know for sure. I'm making it up. I don't notice a difference in my kids' energy or hyperactivity or whatever. You could also add boiling water if you want to. But the coffee just really brings out the chocolate flavor. Okay. So now I'm going to add a cup of hot coffee. It needs to be hot. And if you do water, it needs to be boiling water. Ooh. And I'm going to top my coffee off. Because why waste coffee? That would be a crime. Yeah. All right, so now I'm just going to mix this up. Oh wait, I was like, this is why I should bake when I don't have all of my coffee in me. I was looking at the batter and I'm like, that doesn't look as liquidy as it normally does with the coffee added, because I haven't added the coffee. It's still sitting right here, isn't it? Oh, I love coffee. Okay, put your mixer on stir, okay? You don't want hot coffee splashing in your face, and just be careful. Add it little bits at a time, little bits. And stand back a little bit. Yeah, I've only added like a quarter of a cup of hot coffee, and the batter is already so liquid, but it's going to be so good. I'll show you guys when it's all done. I can't believe that this week is already upon us. So like I said, I'm leaving for California on Thursday for a friend's wedding. Obviously, I've known about this wedding for like a year. So excited. But I knew about it like the beginning of this month. I'm like, okay, May is going to be busy at the end, and I've been trying to like prep and do, and I just don't have time. I don't have enough time to actually get anything accomplished. I still feel like I have so much on my to-do list to do in those last 2 days before I leave. I don't know. There's so much laundry to fold, but at least it's clean. My kids, like, sometimes will be like, I have to dig through piles of laundry, and I'm like, at least it's clean. I have to be careful not to say, well, you should just do your own laundry, because then they like offer, God bless them, but they're 6 and 4 and they don't know how to do laundry, and they're not going to mess it up. I've got 4 girls and I need all these clothes to last. They're not doing the laundry and messing something up. All right, guys, this batter is ready. Okay, it is so liquidy. Look, it's literally pure liquid, okay? It's runny, and you're going to think, oh my God, I messed something up. This is going to be the worst cake ever. No, it's going to be the best cake ever. It's going to be so moist. I'm scraping the bottom of the pan right now because sometimes, because you have the mixer on so low, there's like a clump at the bottom that just doesn't get all the liquid incorporated in it, and it gets like it's just like a lump of mud at the bottom of a puddle or something. You don't want that, so and I don't even feel it this time, but sometimes there is. So always scrape the sides of your pan, the bottom of your pan, and do just a little bit of hand mixing to make sure everything's incorporated. All right, now I'm going through the ingredients in my head really quick just to make sure that I added everything. And even if I didn't, it's too late to add it now because I already added the coffee. So I am doing 3 6-inch cakes right now. because that's what I have the pans for. I am doing a 3-tiered cake. It's going to be 10-inch, 8-inch, 6-inch. It's going to be chocolate, lemon, chocolate for flavors of the cake, okay? I needed 10-inch pans because I never used that size, and I ordered them on Amazon, or so I thought. And then I get the package in the mail, and it's not 10-inch pans, it's 10-inch parchment circles for cake pans. I was ordering too quickly, and the picture on Amazon was a cake pan with the parchment things in there. So I thought it was one of those Amazon deals that you stumble upon sometimes where you get like the parchment things with the cake pans. No, it was just the parchment papers. I wanted to cry because I'm like, I need to do this cake. And now the pans aren't going to be here until Wednesday. I'm like, great. Day before I leave, whatever. So, I'm going to use a 1-cup measuring thing to scoop it out and dump it into each pan, just because I want to make sure that I have the same amount of batter in each pan. That way they're all the same size when they come out. You could also use a food scale if you have a food scale. I don't have a food scale. I should get a food scale. And there we go. Probably about 2 cups of batter for each one. Okay. I like to, bang the pan on the, what is this thing called? Countertop. You know you're tired when you can't remember the word countertop, to get air bubbles out. You can see them like rising to the surface of the batter as you do it. Oh, I just heard my baby growl. Let me go get my baby. Hang on, guys. Say hi. Ozzy, can you say hi? Mimi's watching. Perfect timing. I mean, if you're gonna have a kid wake up, you might as well be at the end, right? Perfect timing. All right, 2 cups of batter in that one, and 2 cups of batter in this last one. Oh, no. Don't get your hand in there. Okay, we're safe. I have chocolate on my hands, though. Messy baking. All right, so bang, bottom of the pan. And again, you'll even see the air bubbles rise up. Okay, there we go. I'm going to pop these in the oven, 350 degrees for about 30 minutes, or until toothpick comes out of the center clean. And then there you have it, best chocolate cake ever. And keep an eye on my blog, because like I said, this party is next week, and then I will have that cake up on the blog and on Instagram and all that stuff, and you're going to want to check it out because it's going to be a really awesome cake. Thanks for joining me. I don't know if Instagram will let me like save the video and then post it to my Facebook or something like that. If they do, then I will. I will link to that chocolate cake today, so keep an eye out for it, the recipe. And I hope you guys have a really great Tuesday. I hope that the weather out here, doesn't suck. I hope your weather out there, wherever you are, doesn't suck. I hope it's a really great spring day for all of us. Bye.